Today on Shop Nation, we wrap up part 3 of the build series for the compact dust collection workbench, giving it a paint job, doing the last minute details, and going that little extra mile to make it awesome. What's up, you guys? Welcome. I'm Travis. This is Shop Nation, and on today's episode, we're going to wrap up the ultimate compact dust collection workbench. You see, in the previous 2 episodes, we built a solid base, put in some dust collection, built some drawers, built some doors, put on the Kreg ACS, got a fully functioning workbench, which could be used right now. The sponsor of today's video is iVac. We'll talk more about them later. There's a couple little details I still need to add, but I'm also going to fully finish the workbench because if you've seen any of my content, you know that I like shop furniture to look awesome. But before we get into that, I want to answer some questions that I've seen pop up in the first 2 videos. And the first one is size. Now, I'm calling it the compact dust collection workbench, but just how compact is it? Well, the base cabinet itself measures 52.5 inches long, 27 inches wide, and the total workbench is about 37 inches from the top of the work surface to the floor. Now, the Kreg ACS top is a little bit bigger than that. It's 55 inches long and about 30 inches wide. I found that 30 inches is a pretty good depth that you can still push up against a wall and get out of the way in a garage or a small workshop. Now, the next question that I see pop up more than once is about the power cord. So in part 2, I swapped the ends from male to female on each end of the cord reel, which is sitting inside the cabinet. But I think a lot of people got confused and thought that I was putting 2 male ends or 2 female ends on the cord reel, or were just wondering why I swapped them in the first place. So traditionally, a retractable cord reel, you pull out a female end of the cord so that you can plug in whatever tool you're using in your shop. The stubby end of the cord has the male end, which usually plugs into an outlet in the ceiling. So all I've done is reverse that. So now the end that you're pulling out of the cord reel has the male end, and the female end, which is the shorter end, is inside the cabinet and plugs into the power brick, which everything else ties into. Hopefully that makes sense. And the third most common question I get is the dust collection system, is it killing the shop vac? And to be honest, I don't really know. I will say that this little slim 5 horsepower shop vac that I use in this, as well as the ultimate cabinet build, it does sound like it's straining when just one tool is hooked up to it. So what I think I'll do in the future is add a Y to this end of the dust collection hose and add a second blast gate to the outside of the workbench that I can just crack open to relieve some of that pressure. This has the added benefit of being able to hook up 2 tools at once, but for me, I would just use it as sort of a release to not put as much strain on the vacuum itself. But the other reason why the shop vac might die prematurely is because there's nowhere for the output to vent to. Right now, it's just blowing inside this cabinet, which gets warm. So to fix that, I'm gonna let it vent outside of the workbench. So the shop vac sits just on the other side of this wall here, and the exhaust is right about in this area. So I'm going to cut an opening which will let that exhaust and heat come out of the workbench. Now, to cover that hole, I want to put some sort of vent. Now, I could buy an off-the-shelf vent, of course. These are pretty easy to find at places like Lowe's or Home Depot. Or I could 3D print a vent. That would save me a trip to the hardware store. Or I could 3D print a custom vent with a Shop Nation logo. Now, I know this is overkill, and no one's ever going to see this vent other than me, pretty much, but why not? So first I'm going to make that quick little modification, cut that hole, and then I'm going to take everything apart so I can sand it in preparation for paint. All right, with that hole knocked out, we can now start disassembling the workbench and start prepping for paint, which involves sanding. Now, because I'm using MDF, I don't actually have to sand all that much because the finish is already pretty good. I just want to rough it up a little bit so that the primer sticks a little bit better. Oh, and when I'm sanding, I will be using a mask, not just because of coronavirus, but because MDF dust is nasty. Okay, so with the Dexter paint booth set up, we can now move on to paint. Now many of you may choose to skip this step, and that's okay, but if you've watched any of my other stuff, you know that I like to torture myself by painting my projects, so here we are again. Now as you may also know, I'm not a big fan of rollers and brushes, and I tend to spray my projects, and my current sprayer is in storage, but after watching my review of the Truecoat 360 DS sprayer that I have been using for a year and a half now, Graco was kind enough to send me a Pro. Now if you did happen to watch that review video, you know that this is sort of the top of the line model. It's cordless, no cord, it uses a standard DeWalt 20-volt battery, and is built just a heck of a lot better. So I'm going to use this for this project, and then probably at least one more project, and then I'll do a review on this sprayer as well to see, is it worth it, is it not? So while that Travis is busy painting, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video. Now I'm excited about this one because it's immediately applicable to this project, and that's iVac. Now you've seen me use iVac in the past. It's a fantastic product that lets you automate your dust collection, whether it's in one project or a whole shop. They've got a full range of products spanning from a simple switching box for something like a shop vac that I'm using now, all the way up to a full-on dust collection system for a large industrial shop, including automated blast gates. Now what I really like about iVac is that it's not that expensive. You can buy their simple switching box, or my favorite, which is the iVac Pro, which lets you basically use a remote and a wide number of tools that I'll talk wirelessly to the main unit. I'm using an iVac Pro in this Workbench build. What's even better is you can add tool sensors as you go, so it's not a big upfront cost and can kind of grow with your shop. Their products range anywhere from 110 volts to 240 volts, and they even have a contactor for the high horsepower dust collectors. So I'm not kidding when I say they have something for anybody. So if you have a need for dust collection in your shop, be sure to check out iVac. You can head to their website or check out the links in the video description. I've been a customer for many years, and I have never had an issue with any of their products. So thank you iVac for supporting this video, and let's get back to it. Okay, so with all the painting out of the way, we can now just clean up and start reassembly of the workbench. I just think it looks so much better painted. Now I know there's purists out there that just want to leave it wood, and that's fine. I have no beef. But for me, when I walk in my shop and everything looks the same, it just makes it inviting. I don't know what it is about it. If you're interested in the color that I use the same color for all my projects. That information will be in the video description below, as well as any products and tools I used to build it. Now I think this is a fantastic little project for any small shop or garage shop situation. I built this over a series of weekends while balancing a baby and work, so it's totally approachable. And now I have something that's going to make the next project that much faster. So as a reminder, I have full color build plans for this whole project. And I also am going to try and experiment, and I'll sell the 3D printed parts that I use for this. So that includes the jigs to make it, as well as the parts that I use when I use the workbench. I'm also going to link just the part files in case you want to print your own and you have your own 3D printer. So that's going to conclude another Shop Nation build. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you as you're commenting and liking and sharing the video. It helps me out a ton. I'd love to hear what you think about the project. Is there something that you think I should should have done differently or something I need to add in the future, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Real quick subscriber update. As of shooting this video right now, we're at 87,959 subscribers. I've actually got some big news as it relates to the shop, so make sure to watch the next shop talk video, which is going to be the one directly after this. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next project, and as always, continue to pursue shop greatness.